So probably the most important section now that we're going to run through is actually getting our activities set up for each season, and so that way they're ready to go so parents can choose them. So we'll choose the button here that says set activities. It's the third from the bottom. And by default, it is going to take you to the current school year and the fall season. So since it's still considered the 21-22 school year right now, it's going to take us there. But if we need to get to 2022, there is a drop down menu here in the middle of the page. So we could choose 2022-23. And we'll keep it as fall since that's where we want to start from. And then click the blue filter here on the right. So once we click that, we should have a listing of all of our available activities for fall of 2022-23. And we can see we only have dancing and wrestling boys set up so far. So it may be that you have some missing activities, and that could just be caused by not having a schedule set up on the activity scheduler yet. And that's very easy to go ahead and add. I already have the AS site set up and running here, so let me just bring that up. So once we're here, we want to click on the edit button here next to team schedules. And this is very similar to AR, it will automatically take you to the 2021-22 school year. But in the middle of the page, there's this drop down. We'll choose 2022-23. So now what we want to do is we want to create a new schedule. So that button is here on the top left. And we're going to choose our seasons. So since this is for fall of 2022, we'll choose that. The activity, let's choose, how about football? There we go. This will be for football boys, and the level will start out as varsity. Of course, all of these listings are dependent on what's available for your school, so it may look different from this. But once we have all of those filled out, we'll click on Save and Continue. So now this is where we'll add our dummy event or mock event for now, kind of like a placeholder just so it can appear in our registration side as a selectable activity. Now once you do have your full schedule, of course you could come back in here and add each of those events for the correct schedules as normal and just remove the dummy activity, or excuse me, the dummy event that we created, so that way it does not appear. So I'm going to add in the date of this activity. We'll say September 2nd. The event type will just be a game. And what's important here is that the opponent be different from the home or host, in this case your school. So just for now, I'll put in TBA or TBD if you'd like as the opponent. I'm not going to publish this for a public viewing so the parents won't be confused and see this activity, and I'm going to place this as non-conference. Now depending on your school, this may not appear. It should automatically just be for non-conference, but if it doesn't, just choose non-conference here, and I'll just click save and exit. Alright, so now it has saved that football boys varsity. So if we go back to our registration page and we click the filter button again, kind of to refresh it, we should see that we have our football boys. There it is, football boys no level and football boys varsity. That no level version is automatically created once a leveled version in the scheduler is created, and it's recommended that the no level version is used, because if you use the version that, let's say, is for varsity, it's automatically going to add all those students who registered for the varsity version onto the roster. So that may not be the most practical way for some coaches who may want to not work that way, because then they have to cut students from that listing. So if they just have the no level version, they'll go into a pool of students who registered for that activity, and then the coaches can just choose which students they want on their roster. No cutting is involved there. So once you have the activities set up, in this last column where it says show in public view, just choose the activities that you want to appear on the form. So let's say dancing girls will do that, football boys no level will choose, and wrestling boys. If you notice, once we actually make this checked off here for show in public view, it does give us the option to edit the name of the activity and the fee amount. So if you do charge for activities, you can enter in that amount here. So let's say for wrestling boys it's $50, and for dancing girls it's $25. Football boys will leave that as $50. Those are all now set. Now just to finalize this, just click on Save Settings. And now this should be updated. So there we go. We have our listing. Now Keep in mind that this does take you back to the default school year, so this may not match what we just did. We can always verify that just by going back again, and they should be checked off here. One other thing too is, remember, we have this preview form button here that's right below the set activities button, and this is super helpful since it gives us a preview of what the parents will see when they access the registration form. And since we're an admin, we don't have to actually fill out anything to get to different steps. We can actually skip through any of these. So let's go to step 2, to the select activity section, and we can see that we have our fall 2022 up, and with dancing girls, football boys, and wrestling boys are set up here. So those are the ones that we chose for fall 2022 showing correctly, and that's great. And of course, for winter 2021-22, we can always remove those as well. And that's very quick to do. Let's just go back so I can show you how to do that. And we'll just go to winter, and we'll keep it for 2021-22. Hit filter, and we should have basketball boys. We'll uncheck this. Let's go to page 2, basketball girls varsity showing. Uncheck them. Uncheck ice hockey. And I think there was one more left. There we go, wrestling. I don't think there was anything else there, so, well, let's just check to be sure. No. So let's click Save Settings. And then, since I still have my preview up and running, I'm going to refresh the page, click Continue, and now we should see we don't have that winter of last year showing, or 21-22 showing here, and just the fall 2022. So you would just do this for each season. So just choose winter for 2022, click filter, and then of course if they're not showing up there, just go to AS and add in those activities via the scheduler there with an event, and that should be all. Once all that's in, pretty much the form is set and ready to go. So if you have any further questions, or if you need some more help, just please feel free to contact us via our chat or phone lines, or of course via our email. That's at support@ourschooltoday.com, and we'll reach out and help you in any way we can.